you can still, the online thing is good. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. But in my honest opinion, it does not beat real life because you don't get the stress of it. You don't get the pressure of people watching you. You don't get the potential of getting cheated. There's a lot of factors that play into online. And plus, like Paul said in the podcast we did, sometimes players aren't going to have every card. So you might get people trying out different texts and like that. So I think online is good, but I feel like if this was real life, those decks will still do good. But I feel like it'd be more of a variety of decks. Like, what's your take on that?
So I actually like fully advocate for the online events. Like I hear like a lot of players saying, "Oh, these events don't count." Like I even have a really good friend of mine. He doesn't take the online serious at all. Like he's just like doesn't count, don't care. He just says it's not real, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, and he hasn't been to a lot of events, so I tell him like, oh yeah, Numeron too. I'll talk about that after. That actually beats out what I said. I completely forgot about that.
Honestly, it's so the deck was so mediocre. You're right.
I'll talk about that because I have several things to say about that because I play tested the crap out of that deck. But what I think is I give like Hani and all the guys at Luxury like all the credit because they're putting these events together and they ran very smooth from what I hear. Unfortunately, I just can't compete in them. Like I don't have the time because of work. Like my schedule just doesn't line up. What's up?
Weekends mainly, don't you?
Yeah. Like I'm usually working weekends and
right, or something like that.
Oh no. I work at the airport. So like I'm like working like on the weekends and stuff. So it's just like I'm busy. Plus I'm in school too. So like I have a lot of stuff going on. So like it's really hard. What's that?
LAX.
No. Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the next flight and I look for you.
The thing with the online one is that, and I say this to everyone who makes the argument, I tell them, hey, look at the players who are topping these events. Like, look at the top cut lists of all these players. I can guarantee without a shadow of a doubt that the same players would be topping the in real life events. Like, yes, there's all the pros and cons of online. There's all the simulator issues, the bad hands, all of this. But the same players are topping and winning consistently. Like Cameron Neal, Kamal, like all of these players are consistent. The really good players in Europe, they're always in the top cut. And if you notice, they're always playing like the best deck or a teched out version of the best deck. It doesn't matter like if everyone has all the same cards. Like I personally think like everyone should have access to the same cards. Like
yeah,
think about it. It's like if you go into like it's like locals, okay. So locals is great, good testing ground, helps you get your feet wet with the deck, helps you expand things, test things out. But if you're playing against someone who doesn't have the same cards that you do, and they're like detrimental, like I had Ash Blossoms, my opponent didn't have Ash Blossoms. This is back when they first came out. I had impermanences, they didn't have impermanences. I was at a huge advantage. Like, you're at a huge advantage, but when everyone has the same cards, it really does come down to your skill because anyone can drop an Ash Blossom on a card and they could Ash Blossom the wrong card and lose because of it. Like, there are so many factors that I tell people that you can say the online events don't count. I think they would be less credible. Like they would not get as much credit if randoms were winning them all the time. But if you notice, every single one is won by someone who has topped or won an in real life event consistently. Like it's not even close. Like this team that just won the 3v3, they're all accomplished players. They all have tops. Like it's not even close. Like one of the guys on the team has, I think, won another LCS or has topped like almost every single one. Like
how many players do these events usually get? Like I saw them here and there online. I don't really follow them like that, to be honest with you. Because I don't have time either. On weekends I'm with my son, I'm playing at locals. So
I'm trying to think, like, I'm not sure on the number. I want to say it might be 150, maybe 200. I don't really know the number. But like they get a decent amount. I mean, think about it. Like they have to regulate all that online crap. Like I couldn't even imagine. Like I don't know what Hani goes through, like to go through all that. But like I always tell them, like I give them all the credit in the world because they're doing God's work with it because it's so hard to like try to regulate all that.
Outlet to play.
Yeah, and exactly.
To your point of the online tournament matter of the same players who top real life events doing good online, that just goes to show you, even if those players were cheating in real life, I'm a big component of everyone cheats in the game. That's my component. I feel like I've known people, like at least the competitive Midwest players, a lot of them do cheat, and I know a lot of them say a lot of people from out of town cheat. So it goes to show, even the people who do play competitive win a lot cheat, that does not take their skill away.
Exactly.
And kind of like steroids and bodybuilding. I don't know if you're into bodybuilding or not.
Oh, I am. If you're natty or not. Yep.
Yeah. It's like people they still have the grind to lift and lift heavy, but they get on the juice. They go on a Super Saiyan mode.
Yes, exactly. No, like that's the whole thing is like I think that can't be denied, especially because I mean you can't actually cheat on dueling, but like, you can't do like a hard cheat. Like it's not like you're gonna draw extra cards.
Yeah.
It's not like you can choose your hand.
That type of cheating is more of like rookie level. Most cheating I probably see at regionals all the time from known players is just literally telling people what card effects do and manipulating the game. Say like it'll be something like me playing Fusion Destiny and then also bringing out Sunriser. Any hero player knows you can't do that, but someone who's not familiar with the deck probably won't care.
Exactly, but
go ahead and go off.
And then like the counter argument to that, because like I've been in those situations myself at regionals, and I'll ask to read the card.
Right.
If it's in foreign, I'll ask for a translation. If they don't provide that, I'd be like, hey, I need to know, man. Like they get pissed. I just call the judge because I'll be honest, I don't really ever had bad experiences. Like, you'll get bad opponents, like people that are pissed off. I very rarely did I ever have that. I would even tell my opponents, like, trust me, I would tell them, I was like, it's not even against you. I'm like, I need to learn to play against this because this is round like 3 of our 10-round regional. I might play against this again. I need to know this interaction. And, that's what I tell people. I'm like, you need to read your cards. Like, if you just believe what your opponent says, you probably deserve to lose. Like,
it's personal responsibility for sure. Like, you can't trust everyone telling you what they want or what a card does. You actually have to experience that card, read it, understand it, and go into the detail.
Exactly. And there's always been a laughing joke. Yu-Gi-Oh players don't like to read. Well, you better read. You better read, man. Like, I'll tell you, like, I played against at the UDS in Tulsa, like right before the 3v3 round 1. I'm playing Mech Knight Invoked. I played against Plunder Patrol, and I have no idea what a single one of those cards do. And I told my opponent, I was like, bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, like straight up, we're like 30 seconds into this match. He goes first. I'm like, I have no idea what any of your cards do. If you can explain them to me while I read them to give me like a shorter version, that would be great, because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to read every single one of your cards. And he was really cool. Like, I still remember that match because I won game 1. I actually lost game 2. And then in game 3, it came down to the wire, but I had to read everything. And I mean, I'll be honest, I probably should have lost because I didn't know what that deck did, but because I read it, and I read it a lot, I was able to win.
You should have lost. I mean, you did what you're supposed to do and you won.
Yeah, but it's so stressful because then, you got people behind you and they're like, oh, like they're trying to see what you're playing, and then they see what you're playing against. And like, if they see, obviously you kind of feel bad. Like, if you lose, you got people watching you, you lose, but like it can kind of put you on tilt. But like, if you read the cards and take the time, like, obviously read them quick, but I mean, there's so much text in them. Like, you kind of have to you need to focus on what's happening.
And then you got to comprehend the card. So you can read a card effect, but sometimes these card effects are so detailed, you got to comprehend how it's going to interact with the field. And then think about it for a minute. I ain't called a pro player out, but this is a pro player. And I played him at a regionals one time. He's a Midwestern pro player. And the dude literally pretty much told me to hurry up reading his card. Not the rule. We had like 11 minutes left in the round.
Okay, so you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time.
I was trying to stall with heroes because heroes can beat you in time with dystopia.
Oh, I know. I played against heroes so much. Oh my gosh.
I two people that regionals with dystopia in time, so I'm pretty sure people probably thought I was just stalling out. Yeah. So I was literally, fun fact about me, I don't really study the meta like that anymore as I used to. Like after I want to say the last national I went to was 2016. I have personal issues like we all do, ups and downs.
Of course.
And I just play Yu-Gi-Oh for fun, and now I'm getting back more competitive, so I'm starting to read cards again. And a lot of these decks that come out, the game moves so fast, and when you're at work, you don't know everything, so you have to read.
Exactly.
Yep. And the guy was reading cards, like, okay, you read it like 3 times around. I'm like, okay, okay, I got you, dog. My bad. I'm just trying to understand it. I'm thinking it's like 2 minutes left. I'm like 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, he ain't trying to lose the hero.
Yeah,
that's all
exactly.
But I ain't get really mad at him. It was just one of them things like, it is what it is. He's usually not an a-hole. People do try to stall. Probably was rumors of me trying to stall at that event. So I understand.
When something's on the line, like people act up. Like